Hi, this is John Burns from Premiere Pro Classes, and today I just want to show you the most important thing to know when importing footage into Premiere Pro. Let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Premiere Pro 2024 and make a new project. I'm going to call it Importing. And you always want to know where you save your project. A lot of people just hit create and they have no idea where that project is. But I'm going to actually save this to a separate drive on my computer. I have an SSD. I'm going to save it to that, to a folder I made called Importing. So that project file is there. Now the most important thing when you're importing footage is to know about this button, Copy Media. Basically what that means, if you have it off, and you're importing footage from your desktop or wherever you're importing it from another drive, and that drive leaves your system, all your footage will go offline. So for instance, if your friend gives you a flash drive and you import that footage and you're working with it for a few hours and this button is off, as soon as that drive goes off of your system, your footage will go offline. So that is always a problem if you're taking media from a lot of different places. When this button is on and you say copy media during the import, and I would leave this setting on, copy with MDS verification, it's asking where do you want to copy these files, and I'm going to actually put this on my SSD drive also because I don't want it to take up the space of my Mac hard drive. So now when I go to import footage, like let's say, I can go through my computer here and import from anywhere. I'm going to import from my desktop here. So I have a couple clips on the desktop and I'll take these clips right here. As soon as I hit create project and import, Media Encoder is going to open and start to copy those files into a folder where you told it to, which is right next to the project. So if I open up my Finder right here and I go to the import, and I can see that it made a folder called desktop because that's where the files came from. So it actually organized it for me, and it's starting to copy those files into that folder on my SSD drive. So now if I delete the folder on my desktop, those clips will still be there. So I can easily delete the folder on my desktop with the media, and I know that my clips will be in the folder in my SSD drive. So that's really important to know, when, especially if you're importing from different places, people's drives. So now let me show you what happens when you don't have that button on. So I'm going to go to the import here, and I'm going to turn the copy media button off, and I'm going to go to my desktop to my SSD drive, and I'll go to my media folder, and I'll just go to Brighton Beach, and I'll just grab this clip, the first two clips here. So I hit 228 and 229, and now this button is off. So I say import, they pop right in like normal and they're right there. But if I change the name of those clips, so let's do that. I'll go to my Finder and I decide that I want to change the name of those clips for whatever reason, because a lot of people like to reorganize. And I'll go to Brighton Beach and I just say I put a 1 on there because I decided I want a 1, and I put a 2 on there because I decided I wanted 2. So now I've changed the name of the clips. As soon as I go back to Premiere, those clips go offline because I can't find them anymore. But if I would have copied them to my media folder with that button on, they would still be there because it already made a copy with the correct name into the folder. Going back to my folder where I did copy the media here, so all these were copied with the button on. If I go to my desktop and delete that folder where I copied it from, so here's my desktop and here's the media I copied, and I put those in the trash, and I go back to my Premiere and those files are still there. There is still a copy in the folder where I told them to go, so I didn't lose any media. So I hope that explains a little bit about how that copy media function works. It's always safe to keep it on, especially if you're importing from a lot of different places and you have a really important project. Anyway, I hope you liked the tutorial. Subscribe or like. See you next time. Thank you.